G'day guys, welcome back to another Scooby-Doo review on the channel, and today I'll be reviewing Riva Las Vegas, which is the 6th episode of the first season of What's New Scooby-Doo. So yeah, let's jump straight into the review.
From making the city of Pacoima, California disappear to being encased for a week in a giant cube of gelatin, Rufus Raucous has made magic crazy fresh for a new generation of fans. Now, strapped to the wheel of misfortune by his lovely assistant Philidia, he'll attempt a daring escape from inside this historic Las Vegas hotel as it's demolished by a 10-ton wrecking ball. I'm Nancy Chang with the exclusive live report. Rufus Raucous is still inside. This is horrible. Stop the camera. Stop the camera.
So yeah, in this one, there was quite a lot happening, and it was quite a fun episode. And yeah, as by the title, Riva Las Vegas means it was in Las Vegas. It was a fantastic, fun, interesting, and surprisingly good episode. I wasn't really expecting this one to be good when watching it, or when I first went to watch it. But yeah, it certainly surprised me, and I do have a bit of a soft spot and a bit of a nostalgia for it. And yeah, just a fantastically fun episode. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It might be a bit high, I know, but I've just got nostalgia to really love this one. And there's no real reason. But yeah, there's just so much I love about the episode. Obviously, this one's set in Las Vegas. As you know, most What's New Scooby episodes, it's the gang traveling, and this time they've won a contest, and you know they've managed to see Lindsay Pagano backstage passes for, and Lindsay Pagano is actually a real person, so she's sort of like a guest star to this one, which is you know, a familiar time, you know, as I recently reviewed Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, which had a guest star, and you know, this one features Lindsay Pagano, which is really, really cool. And you know, she's like a teen pop sensation, and you know, she's really big, and it's like her debut show. And yeah, the setting for this one also was the Spackle Dome, which is like what they called like the theater, and that was really, really cool. I really love that setting, and of course Rufus Raucous and the ghost of Rufus Raucous were definitely the highlights of this one. The ghost of Rufus Raucous was really, really cool. I mean, he might not have looked amazing, but he did some cool things, and you know, it was a good ghost. And Rufus Raucous is probably one of my favourite characters from the whole of What's New Scooby-Doo. It was amazing. He didn't get a lot of screen time, but that's what made him so special and so good. You know, you really treasure the minutes we saw with the gang and Lindsay Pagano with Lindsay in this episode. And yeah, some of the characters in this one were just the standouts. Like, the characters in this one, just some of the best. I mean, you got Dale Stone, who's the owner of the Spackle Dome. You got Nancy Chang, who's, I think she appeared in the first episode, and I think she appears in a later one as well. You also get, obviously, Rufus Raucous, and then his assistant, Lydia. And like she appears in the opening scene as well, which is like supposedly Rufus Raucous's death, but it's actually not, because there's a twist at the end of the episode, which was really, really cool. So the overall arcing mystery of this one was just so entertaining. Rufus Raucous's cat as well caused a lot of trouble in this episode. No one really knew that it was his cat. It was just referred as the Black Cat for most of it. There was also Mr. Wacky Pants. He was not good, but he only appeared for a little bit, and you can kind of see why. You know, they put him in there, but yeah. And then you got that boy band who appears for like literally 2 seconds of the episode. Fates Falls or whatever. They make a very, 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 very short appearance in this episode. Yeah, just love Rufus Raucous. Clear standout of this episode and why it's so good. Obviously, the overall mystery, the opening scene is his death. And then you move into the gang, visiting Las Vegas. They've just come from the Nevada desert and now they're off to Las Vegas. And, they go straight to the Shackle Dome. I do hope I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure it is the Shackle Dome. And it was really, really funny in this episode as well when Fred, he's always trying to impersonate Elvis Presley in this episode, which was, really, really interesting and a bit different. You don't really see that too often, but you do actually see it in other episodes from Fred. So he's obviously got something for Elvis Presley, which is really cool. And a bit different, the introduction to it in this episode. And, he's really excited to, be going to the Shackle Dome, or Spackle. Is it the Shackle Dome or not? I don't know. I'll have to probably get corrected on that one. But, we also get heaps of songs from, Lindsay Pagano in this episode. I'm not actually 100% sure if she did sing the proper Chase song, which is Here I Come Vegas, which I absolutely loved. A fantastic song. Love it to bits. And then you got the other ones that she sang, Fruit of Her Love or whatever, Fruit of My Love. And the other one, can I remember it? It's escaped my memory. I know I can remember it. It's like Living in Denial, I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure she sang all of the 3 songs. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I get corrected on that in the comments. But yeah, I really like her. Her music, yeah, really good. The thing is, I didn't really know who she was before this episode, but obviously know her now. Definitely a standout as well, Lindsay Pagano. But you can't, her working with the gang was like really, really different to seeing a What's New Scooby-Doo episode. And I feel like they had a little bit more freedom in this episode. For the first time in this series, they made the mystery what they wanted it to be. And, it was just so good. And the mystery, they worked it out, but it felt quick. But it didn't feel rushed. It also felt kind of slow at the same time. It was really, really good. The ghost doesn't actually attack too often in this episode. It's only a couple or 3 times even. And some of the times, Lindsay Pagano, Thelma, Daphne and Fred aren't even there. That's interesting. Rufus Raucous's ghost, don't get me wrong, it's pretty good, pretty creepy, but didn't actually look that great. I've got a lot of nostalgia to love this episode, 8 out of 10, but it's not 10 out of 10. There are still things that can be improved, and that's probably because I hated Wacky Pants. He kind of maybe bumped it down a bit. The plot as well, which I'll get to soon, wasn't great. And maybe just because it's an earlier What's New Scooby-Doo episode, lets it down a little bit. Because if this one was in season 3, this one would be absolutely amazing, I feel, as are most of season 3's episodes. So yeah, there is that. And I think Del Stone was like the main suspect in this episode. He acted so weirdly throughout this episode. But I think I'm trying to remember if as a kid I did suspect him or not, or actually like, lock him in and like, believe that it was him or not. But I don't really remember. So I'll keep moving on. When we get to the reveal, after the gang, there's like, it's really, really difficult and confusing to mention and like describe. There's kind of like 3 reveals. The first one is when Lydia Flanders gives the gang a tape recording to prove to the gang what happened to Rufus Raucous, because, they don't really believe that he's actually dead. So when the gang and Lindsay Pagano sit down to watch that recording of the tape, the concrete that falls on top of Rufus is sliced into the broadcast, and then they slice that into the live broadcast to make it seem that it was happening live. But then Velma was able to take the concrete away, which revealed that he went through a secret door underneath the Spackle Dome. So that was really, really interesting. And really, really good. Probably my favourite reveal out of the 3. So then the gang, they figure out that, the secret door could be like, where the statue of Rufus Raucous was that they saw during a bit of a tour of the Spackle Dome at the start of the episode before they met Lindsay Pagano. So they show Lindsay Pagano that, and they go in there and they quickly find the real, alive Rufus Raucous, which was an amazing scene in this episode when he reveals himself with his black cat. This is right before the final song, Here I Come Vegas, by the way. And then they realise, well, if Rufus Raucous is alive, then the ghost must be fake. Then the ghost shows himself. Then thanks to Rufus's amazing tricks, they manage to escape. Then the chase song happens. And then after that, the gang tell Rufus Raucous that Fancy Pants is... not Fancy Pants. Oh, dear. That's not right. That's Mr. Wacky Pants. And Validia are now working together, so she could reveal his secrets to him, because she knows all his secrets, which kind of alludes to Velma who the ghost really is, along with all the other clues as well. And then Rufus does like a big magician performance like for the Spackle Dome, which is really cool, and it's like his return out of retirement, Velma as his assistant, and then the ghost shows up, and then they're able to trap the ghost in a very, very interesting way. Managed to shut the magnet off that was making the ghost levitate with magic, but like they actually reversed it, so they actually trapped the ghost with the magnets in its shoes on the floor, and the ghost is revealed to be Lydia Flanders. Now, she knew all Rufus's tricks, and once Rufus, out of retirement, they put together the scheme so he could live life secretly underneath the Spackle Dome, which is all weird and all that. But yeah, then Lydia Flanders, was supposed to take the spotlight and be the next big magician. She knew all Rufus's tricks. She was going to make millions. But unfortunately for her, Del Stone didn't agree with her plans, so she was out to ruin Del Stone by creating this ghost business to scare away everyone from the Spackle Dome and causing it to close. Now, obviously, she was the one who gave the tape to the gang and Lindsay Pagano, revealing that Rufus Raucous, was supposed to be, dead under the concrete. But it brought in, oh no, it's been laid over the top. So she technically gave the gang the tape when it was risky and all that, but it was the reason why she basically was caught, really. As well as Rufus's black cat not being scared of the ghost, Velma noticed, meaning that, the ghost had to be someone close to Rufus, which is Validia. and Validia knew like all her tricks, so that's why the Rufus Ruckus was able to do so many of Rufus's tricks. The ghosts just knew all of his tricks, and made it seem lifelike. But obviously, when Rufus was found out, she was eventually gone, and Wacky Pants seemed like the obvious suspect, but he couldn't perform the simplest tricks. But Validia could, but she never told Wacky Pants Rufus's tricks, kept them secret, but just working for just a really bad magician in Wacky Pants. Obviously she ended up being captured and she got taken away.
Hey, let me out! Like, where'd he go? Hey! It's time to bring the curtain down on Mr. Wacky Pants' career.
Validia Flanders.
Rufus's assistant?
So that's how the ghost knew all of Rufus's tricks.
Mr. Wacky Pants seemed like an obvious suspect, but he couldn't even do the simplest magic tricks. The biggest clue, though, was Rufus's cat. It wasn't afraid of the ghost. Thus, the ghost had to have been someone who was close to Rufus. Hence, Validia.
But why, Validia?
Because after you disappeared, I was supposed to step into the spotlight. I knew all your tricks. I would have made millions. But Del Stone wouldn't hear it.
So you wanted to ruin Del Stone?
That's right. And I would have succeeded if not for you meddling kids.
Well, you'll have plenty of time to develop your own act where you're going.
Yeah, like as long as you don't try any escape tricks.
And then at the end of the episode, we get another song, Fruit of My Love, from Lindsay Pagano to end off a really 8 out of 10. Wasn't perfect, but still a really fun episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my review, and I'll see you guys next week.
Leaders in the world.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you very much.
My sunglasses.
But I can't do my Elvis without them.
Really? Oops. Darn these fragile imported sunglasses.
Aiming for steamed dumplings.
Who's that? He can't see us. Maybe if I disguise my voice, I can pump him for info.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Engelbert Humperdinck?
Yeah.
I tell you, Ang, Vegas has changed. I've got to sneak away just to take a steam bath.
I know what you mean, boss. Viva Las Vegas. Kicking it old school. TCB. Taking care of business.
Boy, you said it, Ang.
Say, boss, you know anything about this ghost business with that magician fella?
That's no ghost. Rufus Raucous would have to be dead to be a ghost.
What? He's not dead?
Who is that? Hey, dogs aren't allowed in here.
Dogs?
And neither are nosy kids.